In this video, we will go over what inbound deep inspection is and how we can configure it on a FortiGate firewall. And just before we get into it, another name that we can also refer to this feature as would be SSL or TLS offloading. So just a quick differentiator here between a virtual IP or a port forwarding rule and what we're actually covering here, which is inbound deep inspection, right? So to start, a port forwarding rule would be something along the lines of what I'm showing right here, right? So we have HTTP communication on port 80 hitting the firewall, and then we just forward that to an internal server. Or, for example, if we were to have HTTPS communication hitting the firewall, and then we forward that to an internal server. Fairly straightforward. We just take a port and then we forward it on the firewall. Okay, so now why would we want to have inbound deep inspection configured on the FortiGate firewall? Well, let's go over two use cases. So starting with the very first use case, maybe we have an existing HTTPS server like we can see in the bottom right corner here. Well, instead of just having the HTTPS communication terminating between the client that we see on the top left and the server that we see on the bottom right, maybe we'll want to have two separate streams of HTTPS communication. One stream of HTTPS communication will be between the client and the FortiGate. So that essentially the client sees the FortiGate as the server, even though we do know that the actual end server is in the bottom right corner here. But that communication will be under, let's call it HTTPS number 1. And then we have a separate stream of communication between the FortiGate and the actual end server. So on HTTPS number 1, that stream of communication, we would actually have our, typically this would be our public facing server certificate would actually be installed on the FortiGate and not the server. So on the server, I suppose you might be able to use that same certificate, but it's not really that relevant what certificate is on the server. The point is that the server certificate that's going to be facing the end clients, that's the one that would actually be signed by the external CA that all of the web browsers would be trusting. Right, so the benefit here is that now we're still maintaining HTTPS communication between the client and the server like we would have had prior to even considering this use case. But two, and most importantly here, now our FortiGate firewall has full visibility to that encrypted communication, and now it can protect our client and or our server using the FortiGate security profiles. Now let's consider another use case. What if we have a server that's listening on HTTP? It's listening on port 80, HTTP. We haven't configured HTTPS on that server yet, but we also want to introduce HTTPS for security, right? So we can absolutely do that by configuring the FortiGate firewall, again with inbound deep inspection. So we just say that, okay, the communication between the client and the FortiGate, that's going to be using HTTPS. Same as before is that our publicly signed certificate, the server certificate is going to be installed on the FortiGate, and then it's fine. The communication between the FortiGate and the server, that's typically going to be internal communication. Maybe it's not as important to us as an organization to have that be SSL encrypted or TLS encrypted, in which case we can just leave the configuration the way it is on the server and just require the communication from the outside internet to the FortiGate firewall to use HTTPS encryption. All right, so in this tutorial, we'll go over use case number 2 because I think it's just the best way that we can actually explain every process, and it'll make more sense once you're actually configuring it in a live environment. So let's get into the config now. All right, so before we get into the inbound deep inspection configuration, let's just look at our basic VIP object that we have created. So any traffic that hits this IP 166.166.1.2, it's going to be forwarded to 192.168.112.2. External port is 80, internal port is 80, map2 port is going to be 80. So I have testing123.com. It's resolving to that 166.166.1.2 IP address. So as we can see, we can access a web server. Now, before we start configuring our SSL inbound deep inspection configuration, let's just take a quick look under System Feature Visibility. Let's make sure that we check certificates and load balance. If those are not checked, Right now I'm testing on 7.0. If those are not checked, you will not actually be able to proceed with everything through the GUI. So let's check that and let's apply. All right, now let's import our server certificate. So we're going to go create certificate, import certificate, pkcs12, upload. So in my case, I'm importing a locally created certificate that was generated on my FortiAuthenticator. In your case, if this is a production environment, public facing, most likely this is going to be the certificate that an external CA such as GoDaddy or VeriSign, for example, provides. But in my case, it will be the private and public key for this website, testing123.com. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's just view the details of the certificate we just imported. So the CN name here is going to be testing123.com. And then that was issued by TTP Fortinet, which is the CA certificate. So the CA certificate is installed on this machine that we're going to be testing with as well. So now that the certificate has been installed, let's just close out of here and then let's reference that certificate in an SSL profile. And we can do that by going to Security Profiles, SSL SSH Inspection. Let's create a new profile called, SSL Inbound. We'll set it so that it's protecting the SSL server, and we'll reference that server certificate that we just imported. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right, so now that we have that SSL inspection profile that's just been created a moment ago, now let's actually create a virtual IP, or what we're going to actually call now, it will be a virtual server. So we might be used to going to this section, virtual IP, to just configure just a regular port forwarding rule like we initially created for the first example with just TCP port 80. But in this case, we're going to reference that virtual server section and we'll create a new virtual server. As you can see, the config is slightly different here, but it is fairly similar to a virtual IP. The main difference that we're going to be focusing on for this example is that the type gives us the option now for HTTPS. So we'll create, we'll call, HTTPS VIP. We'll just name it that. We'll still bind it to WAN 1 interface, 166.166.1.2. That's our public IP, or public interface. And the port that we want to listen to is going to be 443. As you can see from me accessing this firewall, I've changed the default administrative port from 443 to 4433. You may want to consider that. That's under system. I believe it's under system and settings to do that. Make sure to do that. Otherwise, there's going to be a bit of a conflict here. But going back to the config here, we're listening on port 443 externally. And then the mode for SSL offloading, that's going to be client to FortiGate. So that means the communication between the client and the FortiGate is going to be SSL encrypted. Now, if we were to click full right here, that would mean that the communication between the client and the FortiGate is HTTPS. So is the communication between the FortiGate and the end server. But in this case, we're going to just go client to FortiGate, specify our certificate that we just imported just a moment ago. And then there we go. So this is mostly, everything here is for the public facing or the external facing, the client communication. Now the real server is going to be between the FortiGate and the internal server. So our internal server address, as we know, is 192.168.112.2, and the port that server is going to be listening on, same as before, port 80. So let's hit OK, and then let's save our configuration. Now our virtual server has been created. Now we just have to tie the latest two configurations, so one being the virtual server and two being that SSL inspection profile called SSL Inbound. We just have to tie both of those into a firewall policy. So now let's just create a firewall policy. In this case, we don't actually have to delete this one. Obviously, once you were to configure this correctly, you may want to delete this so that clients can't actually access that end server using HTTP anymore. But in this case, let's just leave it there for example purposes. So let's create that new policy here. All right, let's name it Inbound DPI. Incoming interface is going to be the external WAN 1 interface, external or outgoing interface internal. The source will make it all, so every client IP on the internet can access this virtual IP or this virtual server. The destination, as we can see here, we don't actually see that new VIP object that we just created a moment ago. And the reason why, that virtual server object that we just created, the reason why is because the inspection mode is flow-based. We need to change that to proxy-based. Now, when we look at destination, we see that object we just created, HTTPS VIP. Okay, now let's just set the service to be all. We'll disable NAT so that the end server can still see the source public IP. And ensure the policy is enabled, and let's save our changes. Perfect. And now just to quickly recap again here. So we have a virtual server that's referenced by our inbound DPI firewall policy, traffic that's hitting WAN 1, which would be IP 166.166.1.2 on port 443. That traffic is going to be forwarded to 192.168.112.2, port 80. But then the great thing here is the communication between the client and the FortiGate, that's going to be SSL encrypted. And the server certificate that the FortiGate is going to be presenting, which I actually didn't change. So let's configure that right now. SSL inbound will be right here. And again, in our virtual IP or our virtual server here, we have that same certificate that SSL inbound references to specified as well. So now let's just configure a couple profiles just to make sure that we do have that inspection being viewed. So IPS, antivirus web filter. Okay, let's try that out. There we go. Okay, so now let's go to HTTPS testing123.com. Perfect, and now we can see that there is encrypted communication between the client and the server. And then if we take a look at the certificate, we see that it is signed by the CA TTP Fortinet, and then the server certificate is testing123.com. So the next thing here would be, how do we actually test this to make sure that the FortiGate has the visibility to that HTTPS encrypted communication? Well, we can do that by going back to the FortiGate here for a moment. And if we were to edit that web filter interface here, I just find this is the easiest way to test it. It doesn't need to be the only item that you test, but I think it's just a good example here. So if we were to have a content filter enabled, let's just delete the existing one that we had. We'll create a new one. Let's just look at some of the words that we have on that website. It looks like we just see these words, TTP Fortinet. So let's just say, okay, if we were to see that, that string of text, we're looking for a wildcard. Let's enable that and let's block that. Let's block that web page if we see that, that string in any type of patterns on that website. Okay. Now, when we go back to that same website, let's just save that. Let's just open a private window so that we don't have any browser caching. Okay, now let's access. Great, and there we have it. Now that communication is confirmed to be blocked, and that's our FortiGate doing that in the background. So that wraps things up on how we can configure inbound deep inspection on a FortiGate firewall. Thanks everybody for joining in, and we'll see you in the next video.